I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with Iceberg charts, and you must know what Five Nights at Freddy's is if you click this video, so I'm not going to bore you with a long drawn out introduction. This Iceberg was created by my good friend NatterJohn, who you should absolutely check out. He helped me a lot in the creation of this video, and it wouldn't have gotten this far without his help. There have been many FNAF icebergs, however this is, in my opinion, the ultimate one, as there are 13 layers of pure FNAF knowledge. However, because of this, the iceberg will be split into parts. Not gonna waste any more time with this, so let's get into the iceberg. Toreador March. This is the song that Freddy plays when he's outside your door after the power has gone out. The original song is from the opera Carmen by Georges Bizet, although Freddy's version is more music box sounding. This song has become synonymous with the series, appearing in the most recent game, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. Dawko. Lewis Dawkins, otherwise known as Dawko, is a YouTube personality who primarily makes FNAF videos. Dawko started out as a streamer on Twitch and started growing his YouTube channel after his FNAF videos started gaining traction. After FNAF 3 was released, Dawko fully dedicated his channel to FNAF content. He is most famous for having been the second person to beat 50/20 mode in Ultimate Custom Night on July 9th, 2018. He has interviewed voice actors from the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise on his web series called The FNAF Show. After beating 50/20 mode, Scott Cawthon, the creator of the series, was interviewed by Dawko in an hour-and-a-half long video published on August 8th, 2018. Kitchen Camera. This refers to how in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, the camera feed for the kitchen isn't working. Instead, it only has an audio feed, where you can hear pots and pans when Chica is in the room. Some have suggested that the kitchen is where Golden Freddy resides when he isn't attacking the player. However, this is purely speculation. Nights 6 and 7. In most of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, there exists a 6th and 7th night, with the 7th night normally being a custom night where you can adjust the AI level of the animatronics. These nights are normally unlocked separately on the title screen after beating the 5th night. Fans find this ironic as the game series is called Five Nights at Freddy's despite being there for a week canonically. MatPat. Matthew Patrick, otherwise known as MatPat, is a YouTube personality as the owner of the Food Theorist, Film Theorist, and most famously, the Game Theorist channels. He is known for adding scholarly topics into video games, until his FNAF theories came along and made them all about piecing together the lore of the series. At the time of this video, he has made 48 videos, with one coming later this week. He's become somewhat of a meme within the community due to his abundance of videos on the series. XOR. XOR, or simply known as Shadow Dee Dee, is a character from Ultimate Custom Night. She's a shadow version of Dee Dee with a name resemblance to Shadow Bonnie, being random letters. She appears on 50/20 mode and can summon 6 extra characters, those being Shadow Bonnie, Plush Trap, Nightmare Chica, Bonnet, the Mini Arenas, and Lolbit. RWQFSFASXC, also known as Shadow Bonnie, or RXQ for short, is a shadow counterpart of Toy Bonnie that appears within the FNAF series. His first appearance was in FNAF 2, where he would appear in the office, and when looking at him, he would crash your game. His most prominent appearance was in FNAF Special Delivery, where he is guarding the Shadow Remnant. Ian and Braden. Ian and Braden Cawthon are Scott Cawthon's children. Their exact ages are unknown, however, it was said that they were young during the first game's release, and are at least teenagers during the release of Ultimate Custom Night. Scott has said that he made a bet with one of his sons that he would pay them $20 for every challenge they could beat in Ultimate Custom Night. Apparently, Scott's son played the game for hours trying to beat every challenge in the game. Scott has also featured his sons in the movie Bible Plays Noah's Ark as the leading actors. Endo-02. Endo-02s are endoskeletons used in the FNAF 2 era, primarily in the toy animatronics. The withered animatronics were refitted with these endoskeletons in an attempt to refurbish them, which we all know didn't pan out. There's an Easter egg in FNAF 2 where an Endo-02 can be seen in the prize corner and the left air vent. In the graphic novels, the robot that Henry uses to kill himself bears a strong resemblance to the Endo-02 model. Showtime. Showtime was a cut feature for Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. In the hub area of the game, there is a Showtime button. In the final game, it does nothing, but it was supposed to open a curtain and the animatronics would perform a song, their actual purpose. This would have been the first time we see the gang perform, aside from a brief clip in the original FNAF trailer. The functionality still remains, but goes unused. This was also the first time Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica would be given voices, even though these voices were scrapped and their new voices would be introduced in the next installments. Shadow Freddy. Shadow Freddy, similar to Shadow Bonnie, is a shadowy version of Withered Golden Freddy. He first appeared as an Easter egg in FNAF 2. He appears in the parts and service room and would crash your game after looking at him. Books. This refers to the numerous Five Nights at Freddy's books. These books range from the books to the graphic novels to the short stories. There's the original book series comprised of The Silver Eyes, The Twisted Ones, and The Fourth Closet. There's the graphic novels based off of those books. There's the Fazbear Fright short stories, which have 3 stories per book. There's also the Freddy Files and the Security Logbook, which don't really fit into a category as they're unrelated to the other books. Markiplier. Mark Edward Fishbosh, otherwise known as Markiplier, is a YouTuber personality and gamer. He's been making Let's Play videos since May 26th of 2012 and is one of a select group of YouTubers to have received a Diamond Play button. He's been named the King of FNAF as he was one of the first to beat 420 mode in FNAF 1, and his first Let's Play video on the first game is the first video that pops up when searching FNAF, with the video also being Mark's most viewed gameplay video with 92 million views. It's me. It's me is a repeated phrase throughout the series, belonging to Golden Freddy. Whenever Golden Freddy appears in FNAF 1, the words "It's me" will flash on screen. Since we play as Michael Afton in FNAF 1, and Evan Afton possesses Golden Freddy, he's basically saying, "It's me, your brother." "It's me" can occasionally be seen written on the out-of-order sign in Pirate's Cove from FNAF 1. 1987. This is referring to an Easter egg in FNAF 1's Custom Night. If you put the characters' AI levels to 1, 9, 8, and 7 respectively. Trying to start the game with these settings results in a jump scare from Golden Freddy. This was put in by Scott to shut down rumors saying there was a secret in the game if you play with these settings. Scott Cawthon. Scott Braden Cawthon is a game developer and the creator of the Five Nights at Freddy's series. He has developed many other indie games, although most of these can no longer be found on his website, scottgames.com. His earlier games, primarily Chipper & Sons Lumber Company, were criticized for the characters looking and moving like creepy animatronics. Scott was about to quit game development before he took the criticism and made Five Nights at Freddy's. He currently resides in Texas with his family. Private Room. The Private Room is a secret room in Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. It can be accessed by disobeying Baby's instructions and going to the room on the opposite side of the scooping room. You then enter a minigame where you have to keep Ennard out of your office, similar to the original games. Surviving the night leads to the fake ending, where Ennard found a way out and has come to kill the player. This, however, is non-canon, and was only a fun mode thrown in. In the Custom Night update for Sister Location, the private room is used as the office for the mode. Nose Honk. This is a reoccurring joke in the FNAF series, where if you touch the nose of an animatronic, toy, or a poster of them, they will make a honking sound. This can be done with Freddy on the Celebrate poster in FNAF 1, Toy Freddy on the Celebrate poster in FNAF 2, the Freddy on the cartoon poster in FNAF 3, the Freddy plush on the bled in FNAF 4, Adventure Freddy on the title screen in FNAF World, Ennard's mask in Sister Location, Helpy's nose in the office from Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, Helpy in Ultimate Custom Night, and Freddy on the title screen of Help Wanted. Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is a mysterious ghost-like entity who takes on the form of a yellow animatronic bear, similar to Freddy. He plays a prominent role in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, although his origins are unknown. He is presumed to have the spirits of Evan Afton, the bite victim, and Cassidy, the vengeful spirit inside of him. He has appeared in every FNAF game except Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. Leon Riskin. Leon Riskin is a sound designer and the current composer of the music for the FNAF series, including FNAF World, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, and Ultimate Custom Night. He owns his own sound design company, being Ionix Music, and resides in Malat, Israel. The Bite of 87. The Bite of 87 is a notable event in the FNAF timeline where an animatronic bit somebody, removing their frontal lobe. The animatronic who caused the bite was thought to have been Mangle, due to her broken jaw and jump scare animation where she looks like she's going for the top of your head. As a result of the incidents, animatronics were no longer allowed to wander around the building during the day. JJ. JJ, also known as Balloon Girl, is a minor character in the FNAF series. She is a different colored counterpart of Balloon Boy, with a currently unknown origin. She made her first appearance in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 as an Easter egg where she would appear under the desk. Her adventure counterpart appears as one of the pilots in the Foxy Fighter minigame from FNAF World. Foxy singing. In FNAF 1, you can sometimes hear Foxy singing. This has somewhat been retconned as Foxy's voice actor in Ultimate Custom Night is not the same as his voice in the original.
Never underestimate the cunning of a pirate. Or a fox, for that matter.
Halloween Update. The Halloween Update is a free update for Five Nights at Freddy's 4 that was added on October 30th, 2015. This version adds new cheats, challenges, and gives most things a Halloween theme. However, with the exception of Nightmare Freddy and Nightmare Fredbear, all of the Nightmare animatronics have been replaced. Jacko Bonnie replaces Nightmare Bonnie, Jacko Chica replaces Nightmare Chica, Nightmare Mango replaces Nightmare Foxy, Nightmare Yawn replaces Nightmare, and Nightmare Balloon Boy replaces Plushtrap in the Fun with Balloon Boy minigame in between each nights. The Living Tombstone. Yov Lando, otherwise known as the founder and producer of The Living Tombstone, is an Israeli-American musician and YouTuber, best known for his original songs on well-known video games, with his FNAF music series being one of the most popular playlists on his YouTube channel. His first FNAF song is the most viewed Five Nights at Freddy's video on YouTube, with a grand total of 220 million views. He's also created the songs It's Been So Long, Die in a Fire, I Got No Time, and I Can't Fix You. He no longer creates FNAF songs and hasn't since Sister Location. William Afton. William Afton, otherwise known as the Purple Guy, is the co-founder of Fazbear Entertainment, as well as the main antagonist of the FNAF series. He was directly and indirectly responsible for numerous incidents, deaths, and tragedies throughout the series, most prominently responsible for the murder of many children. He has created the Sister Location animatronics to capture children. He was obsessed with immortality and would kill children to experiment with them. Of course, their souls would go on to possess many animatronics. When William went to dismantle the classic animatronics after finding out that his victims had possessed them, the spirits scared him into a broken down Spring Bonnie suit, which snapped shut, leaving him trapped in the suit. Now being known as Springtrap, he would remain there until he was found 30 years later for the Fazbear Fright horror attraction, which would soon after burn down. However, he escaped and somehow rebuilt his body into Scraptrap. After him and the remaining haunted animatronics are lured into the pizzeria in FNAF 6, the building is burned down, with all the spirits finally passing on. Except for William. William goes to hell and is then tortured by the spirit of Golden Freddy and all his victims. I'm not going to discuss Glitchtrap as he's kind of his own thing, but we'll get to him later. FNAF 2 is a prequel. This is exactly what it says. This refers to how FNAF 2 comes before FNAF 1 in the timeline. FNAF 2 takes place in 1987, while FNAF 1 takes place in 1993 or 2003. It's a bit unclear and there's contradicting points, but nevertheless, FNAF 2 comes before FNAF 1. We know this because 1. Phone Guy is alive and well in FNAF 2, even though he died in FNAF 1. And 2. The withered animatronics are later refurbished into the classic animatronics from FNAF 1. Marionette versus Puppet. This is referring to the debate of whether this animatronic is called the marionette or the puppet. The Funko Pop figure of the character and his description in UCN calls it the marionette. However, everyone in the fandom seems to call it the puppet. Endo01 looking at the camera. This is referring to an Easter egg in FNAF 1 where the endoskeleton in the back room will suddenly activate and look into the camera. There is not much else to say about this. Toxic Meter. This is a scrap gameplay mechanic from FNAF 2. It was presumed to appear when you put on the Freddy head. The Toximeter can still be found in the files of the game, yet it goes unused. Chipper and Sons Lumber Co. Chipper and Sons Lumber Co. is a construction RPG produced by Scott Cawthon before Five Nights at Freddy's. In the game, you play as Tyke, a young beaver who is just starting out in the lumber business who must chop down trees, collect and sell wood, and buy or find various items to make your business easier to run. The game was also pitched to CM Greenlight, but it was pulled a day later after Scott received harsh criticism regarding the art style and how the characters looked and moved like animatronic mascots. Those same critiques were later used to make Five Nights at Freddy's as the series we know it today. Troll games. The FNAF series has had many troll games, in part due to Scott being a bit of a prankster. The first being his FNAF 3 troll game, which he released claiming that he had been hacked and that he might as well just release the game. The game, however, was just a reskin of one of his previous games, There Is No Pause Button, with the lead character having a Freddy head. He also said that Sister Location was becoming too mature, and that he wanted to fix it. To compensate for this, he released the mature version while saying the real version would come out in a few months. The mature edition was actually just a reskinned version of one of his previous games, being Sit and Survive. He had made more following the same presence, but these are his most notable. Scott Drama. This is a bit of a controversial topic, and if you want to hear more about it, check out my video on the situation, link in the description. Basically, Scott had donated money to anti-LGBTQ+ Republicans, and people have doxed him, leaked his address, and have sent him death threats. Along with the fact that he wants to spend more time with his children and end all of this drama coming at him, he decided to retire from the FNAF series, handing ownership to someone else. Death minigames. These are minigames that have a chance of appearing after dying in FNAF 2. They take the style of 8-bit Atari-style arcade games, which tell the underlying story of the series. These minigames were the first appearance of the purple guy, who we would later know as William Afton. Some of the most notable of these being the Give Gifts, Give Life minigame, where the puppet puts the souls of the missing children into the classic animatronics. Take Cake to the Children, where William Afton murders Charlie Emily outside of a Fazbear establishment, and many other story-related events. Jim Sterling. Jim Sterling is a YouTuber and game critic. They had critiqued Scott's game before FNAF, that being Chipper & Son's Lumber Co., for having characters that resemble creepy animatronic mascots. We all know that Scott took this ammunition and made FNAF. Jim has made a video on every game up until FNAF World. That wasn't until recently where they made a video surrounding the 2021 Scott Cawthon drama. I'm not going to delve into it here, but you know I made a video on this if you want to know. Twisted Chica. This is referring to a cut character for the FNAF novel, The Twisted Ones. The Twisted Ones novel artist, Lady Fitzy, posted concept art for a supposed twisted version of Chica. Twisted Chica never appears in the novel, so it makes sense as to why this art was never seen, even though there is an official Funko plush and pop figure based off of the character. Kira Breed Risley. Kira Breed Risley is a novelist, screenwriter, and playwright. She currently works as a staff ghostwriter and editor at Kevin Anderson & Associates. She's best known for writing the trilogy of FNAF novels, with the first novel, Five Nights at Freddy's The Silver Eyes, having become a #1 New York Times bestseller. Hub World Secrets. This is referring to secrets on the hub world of the Curse of Drebber DLC for FNAF Help Wanted. These can be as simple as bats occasionally flying through the area or loading with the sky being red, which alongside the house on the hill is very reminiscent of FNAF 4's title screen. However, there are also some neat, more noticeable ones, such as the Foxy's pirate ship being dragged under by a kraken, or Drebber occasionally walking from the lake to the barn on the player's right. Fredbear and UCN. Fredbear is a secret antagonist in Ultimate Custom Night. However, the steps to find him are pretty complex. First, you need to set Golden Freddy's AI on 1. Make sure you have no other characters available. Second, stall on the cameras after starting the game and collect Faz coins. After getting 10 Faz coins, head to the prize counter and buy the Death coin. You should see Fredbear's hat on the table. After flipping down the tablet, once you see Golden Freddy in the corner, use the Death coin. Instead of dying to Golden Freddy, you'll get a unique jump scare. He is voiced by Kellen Goff, who's a recurring voice actor for the series. His voice is deep and gargled, but when edited, is actually saying things. Desera. Desera was a digital distribution platform for the Microsoft Windows, Linux, and OS X platforms. Their service was similar to Steam or GameJolt, where distributed games and related media is online. Many independent developers and small companies published their content on Desera, including Scott Cawthon, who published the original Five Nights at Freddy's on there before it was approved for Steam. Desera was later sold to Bad Juju Games, which then filed for bankruptcy in June of 2015. In October 2016, Desera was acquired by the Danish company OnePlay, intending to relaunch Desera. Desera's website spent years being down and is now unrelated to the original Desera. Failed Kickstarter. Scott Cawthon created a Kickstarter to try and boost production of the first game. He ultimately raised a grand total of, drumroll please, $0.00. Due to him canceling the Kickstarter early and the fact that nobody knew what a Freddy Fazbear was at the time. Interestingly enough, the description for the game refers to his original name of Freddy Bear, being a play on words of teddy bear. Freddy in women's bathroom. In the first FNAF game, Freddy can hide in the women's bathroom while on his attack route. This led to people thinking the spirit of Freddy might have been a girl, including MatPat's original FNAF theory. We now know this to be not true, as we know Freddy's spirit is Gabriel. Scott voices Phone Guy. This refers to how Phone Guy in all his appearances is voiced by Scott himself. This was due to the fact that early on, Scott was the only one working on the series, so there was no voice actors that could have voiced Phone Guy. FNAF movie. The FNAF movies had a long, rocky development. Warner Bros. Pictures announced in April of 2015 that it had acquired the series' film rights, with Gil Keenan set to direct. However, in January 2017, Scott said that due to problems within the movie industry as a whole, the film was met with several delays and roadblocks and was back at square one. Then, in March of that year, Scott tweeted a picture of a director's chair with the name Freddy on it, with the Blumhouse Productions logo in the background. This implies that the film had a new production company. Producer Jason Blum confirmed the news 2 months later, saying that he was excited about working closely with Scott on the adaptation. In June 2017, Keenan said that he was no longer directing the film after Warner Bros. Pictures' turnaround. It was also announced that in February 2018 that Chris Columbus would direct and write the film, also producing it with Jason Blum and Scott. In August 2018, Kaufman announced that the script's first draft was completed and that a second and third film, based off the second and third games respectively, were possible. That month, Jason Blum tweeted that the film was planned for a 2020 release. However, in November of 2018, Scott announced the film's script had been scrapped and the film would be further delayed. In June 2020, Jason Blum said in an interview that the film is in super active development and that it's moving rapidly forward, but that he doesn't want to put a timeline on it. In November 2020, Scott said in a Reddit post that a screenplay had been chosen that filming will start in spring of 2021, around March. Included was a list of scrapped screenplays with a small description of each and why they were ultimately unused. We don't know much about the plot, however we do know that it revolves around Michael Afton, as he called it the Mike storyline in his Reddit post. Sparky. Sparky the dog is an iconic FNAF hoax from its early days. In the early days of FNAF 1, someone began to spread rumors about a hidden sixth animatronic named Sparky the dog. Sure enough, screenshots began to crop up on Tumblr. Reportedly, Sparky was broken, only had one arm, and would never attack the player, only appearing occasionally in the backstage doorway. However, it was eventually revealed as a hoax by his creators, Tumblr users Kodaya Bear and Nugan, with all the screenshots being photoshopped. Mangle's gender. This refers to how Mangle's gender is unknown. People would have debates over them, and even Scott added fuel to the fire by referring to them with both male and female pronouns. Mangle's design is very feminine, with pink colors and long eyelashes, so the majority of people assume Mangle is female. She even appeared in the Ladies Night mode of FNAF 2's Custom Night. However, when the game released, Phone Guy sounded like he was referring to Mangle as either him or them at one point. That, along with a rumor that Scott had stated all the characters were the same gender as their original counterparts, started the initial debate. After this, Scott was asked about Mangle's gender on Steam, with a user asking if they were male or female, to which Scott replied, "Yes." Oh, Scott. Ever since, Mangle has had references to both pronouns during every future mention in the series, as a nod to this debate, which kept the debate going. CD+. This is a debugging exploit in the first two FNAF games. By pressing C, D, and plus signs on the keyboard, it makes you skip straight to 6 AM. The same applies to the second game. The difference being, your cursor must be hovering over Freddy's nose on the Celebrate poster while pressing the keys. This exploit was removed in the third game and hasn't been seen in any game since then. It's worth noting that several people claim that on the Phantom BB teaser for FNAF 3, you can see the letters C and D on the side of his head if you brighten the image up. This led people to believe that the letters had more significance, but it's never been confirmed. I am so excited to dive deeper into this iceberg, however, that'll have to be where our video ends today. But don't you worry, because next week we'll have a new part ready for you. To make sure you don't miss it, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. It really helps out and will make sure you don't miss the next part of the iceberg. Also, you should join our Discord server. We already have a great community and it's really fun. Anyway, I've been your host, Lil T. I'll see you guys next time.